All right. Well, hello, everybody. Cleta Colson-Eyre, Cleta the Cheetah here. And tonight is the second week of our Boss Babe called Be the Game Changer. And so if you missed last week, it's no worries. Just go back and watch it because it was really, really good. We had National Sales Director Jan Thetford deliver a message. And I just have to also, every week, I need to give a shout out to Karen Rottle, new National Sales Director, who kind of came up with this whole program for tonight and for the next 7 weeks. And so tonight you're in for a big treat. It's going to be so good. It's going to be a short little speech, but you're going to really, really like it. So I did come up with a little PowerPoint. Last week, if you were there, I was struggling with so many things open on my computer that I could not, it's like I could not get everything together. So I thought, let me get my act together a little bit tonight, and so that it'll run a little bit smoother. So welcome. I know we still got people jumping on here. It's funny. We had a January jumpstart this weekend, and somebody said something which I don't know how they meant it, but I took it as a compliment. They said, well, we start on time because Cleta's in charge. She keeps us on time. Like, that's a compliment to me, and I thank you very much. It's funny. I like people who start on time, except for when I'm running a little late to church, and I wish they didn't start on time. Like, why can't they just be 5 minutes late one time, right? But anyway, thank y'all for being on time today, and I thank y'all for joining us. So this is week number 2 from our Boss Babe, Be the Game Changer. It's January 9th, 2022. And so what we're going to do, the very first thing, is we're going to talk about the points from last week. So most of you should have your worksheets. If you do not, like, oh, I couldn't find the Google Doc, well, screenshot this. It's going to be on here for a minute so that you'll have it for next week. So you got points for everything you did last week. And we want to see, and you can put it in the chat, how many points you had, okay? And so, listen, everybody that has their camera on tonight, you get 20 points. Isn't that nice? So, matter of fact, I think I just need to stop the share for a minute, and I need to put it in gallery view, and I just need to see everybody for just a minute. So, I'm going to stop my spotlight. Here we go. Remove my spotlight. Look how beautiful y'all look. Now, aren't you glad you turned your camera on? What in the world? Last week we had like 4 people with their camera on, and everybody else was like a Christmas tree or something. And so thank y'all for showing up and being ready to learn for just a few minutes tonight. And like I said, the dogs are playing Texas Christian. And Brad's like, we got to root for Texas Christian. I mean, Christian, that's our people. I'm like, Brad, we are Georgia Bulldogs. And there's Christians that go to Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, Georgia UGA, I am sure. So anyway, either way, it's going to be a win, right? But I don't know if anybody has been watching it. It just started. Does anybody have the score by any chance? Maybe not. Okay. Well, hey, wait, put it in the chat because I can't hear you. If you have the score, it would just be nice to know. Okay, forget that. We're back to Boss Babe. Okay, so Georgia's up by 1 touchdown. Okay, awesome. Now I can go back and I'm not going to worry about it for a few minutes. I'm not worried. Okay, so let me look at the screen and let me just shout out some points to y'all of who has got what right here. Here we go, y'all. I'm just going to shout them out. Amy, 100 points. Grace, 40 points. Sarah, 145. Chastity, 70 points. Lynn, 290. Nicole, 80. Gina, 419. Georgia Bulldogs, 7-0. Oh, excuse me. Darla, 125. Maryland, 185. Christine, 290. Linda, 50. Okay, y'all keep putting those in the chat. I want to see them. And then what we'll do is let's just look for a second. I'm going to go back to the screen in case you're like, I forgot about that. Let's just look at it and see how are some ways you could get some points this week. So one is attend the success meeting with your camera on. All right, you guys got that. 30 points, weekly accountability call with your sales director. And this is when you just call your director, box your director, message your director. And this is what that call is going to be about. It's not going to be about your children, your mom, your grandma, your husband. It's going to be this is what I have on my books. This is my goal for the week. These are this is what I got going on. What do you think? Or if you're struggling with something. But that's what the call accountability is, where you say, my goal this week is to do 3 parties. Right now I have 1 booking, but I made a list of 20 names, and this is who I'm going to be calling. And so I'm trying to book on, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or whatever you're doing. And then you're accountable to her for what you say you're going to do. And it's just a thing where if you know you got to check in, you'll do more. Believe me, I've been on accountability calls with nationals, and I knew I had to say what I was going to do. And then I knew I had to come back and tell what I did do. So it does help you. 10 points for every new name or number collected via a skincare class survey, warm chat, or referrals. 25 points for every party booked with 3 or more in attendance. If they book a party, they're going to have at least 3 there. 50 for every party that is held that you had at least 3 people. Okay. Think about that. Okay. What's our goal? 60 faces, 60 days. So this one we should be able to rack up on. 20 for every face you pampered with samples, virtual or in person. 20 for every guest who attends an in-person or virtual guest event. How would we know they attended a virtual or guest? Well, if they're in person, they attended because they're sitting and looking at you. Virtual, they're going to have to say something while you're doing the party, right? Not like 3 days later, but while you're doing it, you're talking to them. When it's over, you talk to them, right? 25 for every career chat, someone you actually sit down by in person, face-to-face, Zoom, FaceTime, however you got to do it, and talk to them about the Mary Kay career. 50, so 25 for booking the appointment, 50 when they actually hold, and 100 for every new signed team member. So I know that like when we got started, it's kind of hard to keep up with all this, but I want you to really set a goal of while we do this Boss Babe series, that your numbers increase every single week. Increase, increase, increase. Some of this is just for your accountability of putting forth a little effort, right? So, we all can make some accountabilities of getting some bookings or making some lists for getting some new names, right? And then the sales and the bookings are going to come. So let me go back and look at my chat here. And so as far as I can see, and I am going to look at YouTube. Let me see if I got some points here. I don't see any points on YouTube. So I'm going to have to stick to Zoom for the points just for this. Okay. Let me just, I need to give the shout outs to these gals that just put them in here too. Okay. So Christine 290, Linda 50, Brenda 360, Sandy 185, Sandra 90, Vicky 130, Diane 80, April 110. So it looks like to me, and y'all can verify, but it looks like to me is 419 the most. I believe it is. I'm just glancing back through all my numbers here. Okay, 419 is the most. So y'all, let's give a big shout out to Gina Wood with 419 points. Way to go, Gina. I'm so proud of you. And so Gina was actually she was at our January Jumpstart this weekend, and she was the #1 consultant in our Jumpstart, and she's already completed the National Queen's Court of Sales already. So I'm super proud of her. So let's work on that for this next week, and let's really get on with just working on those points, because that is kind of like your IPA sheet, the income producing activities. Okay, I'm going to bring up Maureen, and Maureen is going to introduce us to our guest speaker tonight that is going to be on Boxer. And so let me just find Maureen here a minute. Maureen, there you are, girl. Okay, let me spotlight her. Okay, Maureen, I asked her to read this with us tonight because, well, she's going to tell you why. And she's going to tell us how she met Linda Toupin, and then she's going to read a little bit about Linda Toupin as well. So take it away, sister.
All right. Thanks, Cleta. So you want me to tell a little bit about how I met her first?
Yes,
Okay.
I want you to tell about how you met her first, then you can read her accolades.
Okay. So, of course, I've known about Linda Toupin for a long time, being in the company for more than 20 years. But as I was in my red jacket, it would have been a year and a half-ish ago in January, and I was on the Boss Babe call. This Boss Babe call is gold. Okay. So when you come to it all the time, every single week, you will definitely reach your dreams that you want. So I'm here. I was in the Boss Babe call with my red jacket, and I was learning and being mentored and all the things. And then Cleta's in Georgia. I'm in Michigan, and I've never met Cleta before, but she's like my cheetah mama. And she says that now this is like January-ish, and she says that they're going to have an event in Valdosta, Georgia, where they're going to have Linda Toupin there. And I'm like, what? And so I was thinking, oh my gosh. And I'm just, inside jumping up and down and being all happy. And so I waited, and Cleta put the flyer out, and I saw the flyer, and it was like a Friday night, Saturday all day, and then a Sunday was a guest event. And I'm reading it. And at the time I was a red jacket, and the Friday night time was for DIQs and directors. And then Saturday morning was for DIQs and directors. And then Saturday afternoon, the workshop was for anybody, all the rest of the people, the red jackets. And I thought, well, I cannot even justify going down to Valdosta for a 4-hour training with Linda Toupin. So I prayed about it, and it was January-ish, and I'm continuing going to the weekly meetings, and they're talking about it. Cleta's, she's talking about it with us almost every week, and wondering who's going to come and stuff like that. And I was like, my hands were sweaty, and I waited February, and I kind of planned it out. I'm like, okay, where am I at? I'm looking at my team and all that kind of stuff. And I've been like, DIQ one more time. Like, guys, I'm afraid to call the company, ask them how many times I was in DIQ over my 20 years. It just makes me want to, so anyway, I thought, you know what? I can do this, because I had been to so many Boss Babe calls. My confidence, my personal growth was happening. Cleta was pouring into me, all Selah and all the people, they were all pouring into me. So it was about end of February. And I knew that I had to have my DIQ letter in by April 1st, which was kind of funny in and of itself, April Fool's Day. And so it was, when was it, Cleta? Was it end of February or in March that I said on the Boss Babe call, I said, I'm coming. And you were like, well, come on, girl, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm going to Valdosta to be inspired and taught, because the training from Linda Toupin was going to be amazing, right? It was training that she had done for directors before, and it was off the hook. Like, I had to have it. And I still go through my notebook of all my notes. It's amazing training. So I was so excited. And when I got there, it was just like a mini seminar. All these, like, Katie Hayes I made, and all these girlfriends, and Selah, I knew Selah from Zoom. I knew Cleta from Zoom. Meeting them in person, it was like, I was on the phone with my husband that night while I was in my hotel room. I'm like almost crying. I'm like, this is the most, and I've been in Mary Kay for over 20 years, but the girlfriends that you meet, even on these Zooms, and when you meet each other in person, and the way we all support each other, you guys, I'm like, I'm not in their unit. They're not getting a check from me, like, for what I do. This is all go give. This is Mary Kay National Area. Like, I'm in Sapphire. Cleta and Selah, they're in, Ruby. So, it's the best. I've never known anything like it. And then just to be there with everybody, and to meet Linda Toupin, get my little picture taken with her and everything. I was just over the moon. That was like the best. It was probably better than going back to seminar. That's just me, though.
And you guys, Here's the thing. She decided that she was a red jacket in January. She decided, and she told me, she goes, I'm coming as a DIQ. I don't know how, but I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. And she did it. She came as a DIQ. She got to go to all the director classes with us, and she went back and she finished. She finished. And so it is a matter of making that decision And I'm so thankful, Maureen, that we had an event that pushed you to get her done, right? Because sometimes you just have to have something, and some of the gals that were red jackets, I'm like, you want to be a red jacket at the January Jumpstart, like we got to get you in red by then. It's good to have those markers. And so the next marker would be by the spring, the virtual spring that deal that Mary Kay is doing, and then any local thing that you're doing to be in your red jacket by March, so you can go as a red jacket to these things and have those special classes. So I'm going to bring the screen back up, and she's going to introduce Linda and read a little bit of her accolades, because some of you may be new and don't even know who she is. And so she's going to read this to us, and then we will listen to her Voxer message for us. So take it away.
All right, great. So Linda Toupin. Okay, so former occupation home economics teacher. All of her highlights are right there. You guys can read it. It's amazing. She was the annual Go Give Award. Looks like twice. But she says, I've learned to discipline myself to work. Okay, that's my sentence I'm taking away from this whole night. I'm telling you right now. Okay, so choices that work. It didn't matter if you were tired, in a bad mood, or a relative had just died. The cows had to be milked. That's the way Independent National Sales Director Emeritus Linda Toupin describes her life growing up on her family's dairy farm in Kentucky. The cows came first no matter what. Linda knows her milking the cow mentality, along with the fact that her family remained close, contributed to her success as a Mary Kay businesswoman. She says, I learned to discipline myself to work whether I was in the mood or not. The former home economics teacher who once lived paycheck to paycheck says, I don't stop my life to have a crisis. So many of us are conditioned to think everything that happens to us is a crisis, and we become paralyzed. We just need to wake up, stop focusing on ourselves, and get back to work. As an independent national sales director, Linda obviously knew what worked. From the beginning of her Mary Kay business, she followed Mary Kay Ash's lessons, like holding at least 2 skincare classes per week and making choices that included time for family. Those choices helped her lead her to her success, helping one woman at a time. Now, as a national sales director emeritus, Linda says, because of all I have gained through my Mary Kay journey, I was able to create financial choices for my family that I never imagined possible. Money doesn't create happiness, Linda explains, it creates choices. Because of Mary Kay, I now have unlimited choices concerning travel, time with family, and work that I want to do. Linda has a new mission. Mary Kay created the life that I have today, and it will be my honor to pay it forward for the next generation of the Mary Kay legacy. Linda intends to work within the company guidelines to help motivate and inspire Mary Kay National Area any way she can. And in the bottom left, it says $1 million sales director is one. Oh, it just gives that. But I will tell you that that's what she did in Valdosta, Georgia. She, at that last paragraph, she inspired me to no end. She gave me the reason to go. She gave me the information, and she gave me the no nonsense way about it. And it's just exactly like she says, I've learned to discipline myself to work. And that's my takeaway.
Okay, thank you. Well done, well done, well done. So this is a short video. It's only 6 minutes. And so get your pen and paper out, and you want to write what she talks about, her game-changing moment in her Mary Kay career, and then a couple of notes that you feel like you can take away from what she said. And then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so here we go.
Hi, Karen, National Sales Director of Maritime.
Let me just say the first part is to new national Karen Rattle, because Karen did this whole event and Karen asked her to speak. So she's congratulating Karen on being a brand new national sales director. Okay, let me just say that in case you think, why is she saying Karen? Okay, now you know.
Linda Toupin here. Oh my goodness. First and foremost, congratulations to you, your directors, your consultants, and all of the customers that made that dream come true. You know, you all now are in a position to have enormous influence with your actions and your thoughts. And Mary Kay so desperately needed all of you at the top of that echelon of influence, and you all certainly will make a big difference in the future of our company. And every mascara that was sold by every consultant, every director's meeting, every director's training, and of course, all your brilliant leadership is what made that happen. So congratulations and kudos to everyone. You asked about a game changer moment. The one that really comes to mind happened in the first 2 weeks, believe it or not, of my business. I sat at the table with Lucinda Utley, my senior director, the one who walked into my classroom in April of 1982 to teach my middle school students how to take care of their skin. And ended up becoming a Mary Kay consultant, obviously myself after that, and reading Mary Kay's autobiography. But when she trained me, she said that the average consultant, now this is in 1982, which is 40 some years ago. She said the average consultant will make $50 profit when they are unskilled and untrained at the very first specials and parties. And I know legal has a heyday with those kind of statements, but truth is truth. And that was the truth that she had experienced. And she said these words: you have 168 hours in a week. And for every hour that you work your Mary Kay business with people, now I'm not talking about shuffling papers and decorating your office and putting labels on product. When you're working with people, it was worth $50 an hour. And that's a lot of money today. And it was a whole lot of money in 1982. And she said, by sheer logic, it simply means that every hour you're not doing Mary Kay and doing something else, it's costing your family $50 an hour. That formed a brand new crease in my brain. A crease is a thought that takes hold, and that is literally what forms our thoughts and our habits. And that thought rocked my brain. And so then when I went home and found myself washing dishes, going to the grocery store, doing laundry, dusting the furniture, I realized that that activity was costing my future $50 an hour. And if it did not bring me money, make me money, or bring me joy, I wasn't going to do it. And that became like a standard for me. If it doesn't bring me joy, it doesn't make me money. Now, I barely could afford a starter kit. I had to go to 5 different places to get somebody to loan me $800 to buy inventory. So I didn't have money to hire a secretary or housekeeper, but I'm a barterer. I love bartering with people. And so I found a girl in my classroom who was a senior, who was one of those people that, the homework was perfect. This is long before computers. And she typed a handout and there was a mistake. She didn't use whiteout. She started all over. She was that much of a perfectionist. And I asked her if she would work in my office 3 hours every Sunday night. And I would buy her Mary Kay products and she would work for me. And we did that for about a year. And by that time I was making enough money that I could pay her. But that allowed me to be in live contact with future hostesses, customers, follow up. And she sat beside me and she did all of that stuff, organizing my product and getting ready for my parties and shipping out product and all of the paperwork that goes with taxes and etc. And it forced me, by her being in my space, to be on the phone the entire 3 hours. I kept up that routine probably out of the 40 years of my career up until the last 10 years. Now, it wasn't her always that was with me. Time changed, people changed, technology changed, but that stayed the same. Then the housekeeper piece, that was easy. One of my very first parties walked into a single wide trailer, and everything in that little trailer was immaculate. She was incredibly detailed. She stepped, as soon as I stepped in the door, she said, I hope it's okay. I'd like to book 3 more parties. And of course, I thought, I think that's okay. Anyway, and she had them all neat and organized. This group was going to do only skincare. This was only going to do glamour. She gave me all the details about all the people she was inviting to each one. And I realized that was long before my DISC training, before I understand behavioral styles, that this is somebody I needed in my life. And so at the end, I said, hey, don't be offended, but I just need you to come and make my house look like your house. And I can't pay you, but I can barter with you for Mary Kay. She literally cried. She was so happy. See, very detailed people want to make you look good. because they know you need help anyway. And so she also worked for me for that first year for free product. That is why I've made $11 million in Mary Kay. It's that 2-hour training class when I was a brand new consultant that told me every hour I wasn't doing Mary Kay or doing something that brought me joy, it was costing my family $50 an hour. Today, that's more like $100 an hour. But that was a huge, huge mind shift that made a big difference in my time and money management for the rest of my life.
Okay, you guys, I told you it was short, but sweet and powerful, right? Would y'all not agree? Short, sweet, and powerful. So, where's the next little slide here? It's blank. Isn't that exciting when you have a blank slide? So I believe what this was supposed to say is discussion. So what we're going to do first is there were some scriptures that I wanted to bring to your attention, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the game changer idea that she had. In fact, let's talk about that first, okay? One of the things in your workbook, it says to have a personal game changer affirmation that you say to yourself every day. And so then it had these scriptures that would go along with that. And so let's just look at a couple of them here. Romans 12:2 says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. Let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you'll learn, Then you'll learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect. Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Isaiah 43:19, which this verse is a lot of people at first of the year love this verse. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and the streams in the wasteland. And then 2 Corinthians 5:17, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone and the new is here. So how could you make this be a game changer affirmation? You may say something like, I am transformed. Cleta, am transformed into a new person by God. I am changing the way I think. I am going to learn God's will and know what is good for me, pleasing and perfect. I'm strong. I'm courageous. I am not afraid. I am not discouraged. For the Lord my God is with me wherever I go. There is a season for every activity under the heavens. I am doing a new thing in 2023. I am making a way the Lord is making a way for me in the wilderness, and streams are coming in my business that used to be a wasteland. You can leave that out. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, out with the old and in with the new. So those are some ways you can use scripture to be an affirmation that you want to start repeating daily. So let's talk about a little bit about her game-changing moment. So what I'd like to do, we have a lot of people on here, but what I'd like to do, if you are a red jacket or above, okay, just because you have so many, I would like for you to, what was her game-changing moment that you would like to share with us? Just unmute, and then I'll put your thing on there. Anybody?
This is Natasha, and I would say her talking about the activities that she was doing, like dusting around the house or washing the dishes. Every time she was doing that was costing her family money, because if you are an S personality, or acts of service is your love language, that can be a very hard thing to move away from. But recognizing that I can be loving my family better in the future by doing those income producing activities now and bartering for someone else to wash the dishes or whatever, that was a really good one.
Okay, good. Thank you. Who else has something that might be just a little bit different?
I like how she was able to recognize, one of her students really could actually help her, or where she was able to, when she went into one of her clients' house, she was able to see that, hey, this is actually going to help me, and it's going to help them, and I really liked how she explained that and she did that.
Okay, good. And that shows me, don't it show you that look for people that have qualities that you don't have? They may want to do them for you, because like she said, it probably drives her crazy to see your dirty house when she hasn't one of the needs the pen, right? So I thought that was brilliant. Okay, thank you, Christine. Who else? And directors, this involves you too. When I said red jackets and above.
Okay, sorry, children. They're not in bed yet. I really like, when she was talking about, needing help. I have health problems and I am not fond of asking anyone for help ever. It makes me feel bad that I can't take care of everything by myself all the time. And it was funny that she said she asked her student for help, because I have had one of my kids' friends come over before, and I'm like, look, girl, I know that you need some stuff for your acne. Okay. I also know you need some makeup stuff. Come help me. I need some help mopping the floors. My hands hurt so bad sometimes I can't do the vacuum. I can't mop the floor. I can't do all that sometimes. And that's okay. You can use things like this, to have help, and that's okay. You don't have to feel bad. So I really like that somebody else said that. So it makes me feel that I'm not crazy for using my business to have help for something like that. So I really like that she said that.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And I'm telling you, all through growing up in Mary Kay as a young director and before I became a director, I went to a training like this, Melanie, and I thought, I can't afford to hire no housekeeper. I mean, like, I'm barely getting by myself, But I did find high school girls that would work for me for product. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the good thing about it is that you're older than them and they're still in the mindset that they have to do what you say, because you are, like when they work for you, you don't feel bad telling a high school girl, all right, listen, this is what I need you to do, and they listen to you. Right. I have hired some people that were my age and it was a little more difficult for me to boss them and they didn't want to listen to me. I'm like, I'll just go get my 20-year-old back. And college age girls are great as well because they have flexible schedules, and they're not looking for a full-time job. So thank you for bringing that up. Who else has something that you can unmute? Go ahead, Latrice.
Hey, I just like the first thing that was on her page that she talked about, and that she learned to discipline herself and to work no matter if she was in the mood or not, and that she did not stop her life to have a crisis, or she didn't stop her life to have a crisis. And I thought, well, don't stop your life to have a circus either. Anyway,
right?
Anyway, but we're not in the mood all the time, but it depends on your goal, whether or not you're going to be disciplined enough to continue. And I love that she said that. And the other thing was, we have to not just involve our team members, but involve your customers. Your customers are huge. And when she was talking to Karen and her unit, and thanking and making that dream come true, it was just all a piece of the puzzle. So we have a lot to be thankful for, not just with one part of our Mary Kay business, but grouping everyone together that makes our dreams happen.
That's right. And I was thinking about Russell. Latrice's husband is a farmer, and there's a time when harvest is ready. And when the harvest is ready, it has to be cropped. Yes. And like Latrice could wake up and say, Russell, I'm just not feeling good today. Can you stay home and rub my back all day? No, honey, I got to crop this, whatever he's farming right now, cotton. It's got to be picked. It's got to be picked. Yep. Just like this cow's got to be milked. Am I right?
That's right.
I mean, when it's time, you have to do it, and it don't matter if someone's having a mini breakdown, right?
Yeah,
you'll say, right. When I get home, I'll have the breakdown with you, but right now I got to go to work.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, not my monkeys, not my circus. That's right, Maureen. Okay, thank you, Latrice. Who else has something about her game-changing moment that you would like to pop on here?
I like that she said detailed people want to make you look good.
Yes. Yes. and that they will be the ones to help you. I have a friend of mine that's on here, Stephanie Demar. And so every now and then her friend Cleta makes a mistake on Facebook with a date, a name, something. The other day as a mutual friend, and I said, I posted a bunch of pictures, said, "Happy birthday, Kathy." She goes, "I love your post," except for it's Teresa. Just a small detail. I'm like, dang it. So I go on there, I have to change it, So Stephanie keeps me on my toes, and I can't remember something else I posted. Stephanie's like, "Hey, you might want," I'm like, "Oh crap." And so anyway, it's always nice to have a detailed person in your back pocket, and it doesn't offend me when Stephanie helps me. It doesn't offend me. I love having people like that, and I am detailed and stuff, but I use swipe instead of text. I don't know if y'all know what I mean, like with your phone, instead of like if I'm texting somebody, I'll show you what I mean. And sometimes it picks up a different word. So let's say I'm texting somebody, I could go like this, and instead of I do swipe. And so sometimes it does another word. Like sometimes I go glad and it says goat, and then I miss it. And I said, call somebody a goat. But anyway, thank you, Gina. Exactly. Okay. Who else would like to say something about her game-changing moment? And then let's go on to what kind of takeaway, something she said that you could incorporate in your business. And this can be anybody. You don't have to be a Red Jacket.
Sharon has something, and then I want to say something.
Hey, Sharon.
Yeah, hi, Cleta. Thank you for this. This is wonderful. I like the fact that she made a decision 3 hours every Sunday, and she did not lose that. She kept doing that, and so that made you can get a lot done in 3 hours if you're focused. And so I liked that. You don't have to have 33 hours in a day. You can use your 3 hours.
That must have been something that we were taught in the 80s, because that's exactly what I did. Is on Sunday nights were the time that my sales director said, "You got to get on the phone Sunday night." And I went to church on Sundays. And so I didn't get home church got out at 7:00. So I would go home, and I knew I had to get on the phone. And it was like Linda Toupin. Every single Sunday night I get on the phone. Number one, I made sure I had guests coming for the Monday night meeting. That was the next night. Number two, I had to get bookings. And number three, I had to do follow-up. And I missed a lot of little girlfriend activities on Sunday night, but it was just, I said, "No, I'm really sorry. I can't. I've got some calls I've got to make." And they're like, "Every Sunday." I said, "That's right." And then guess what? I became a sales director, and I won a car, and then I kept going on. The use of a free car. Okay. The use of a career car. Don't say free. All right. Thank you so much. Sayla, let me pop you on here. Gotta find you first, sister. Where's she at? Sayla. There she is. Okay. We're not used to so many on here, Sayla, are we? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what I love is what Linda said to Karen Rydell. And she said that Karen and her team, her area, would now be an enormous influence with their action and thoughts. And, I think a lot of times we as consultants don't realize the power that we have, the influence with our actions and our thoughts. And that is really what our business is about. And then she also mentioned that she read Mary Kay's autobiography. And, I know when I first came in, everybody read that autobiography, and everybody talked about that book, if not weekly. It was a constant topic of conversation. So it's those two things really stuck out to me.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And we were told, like, that was one of the assignments when you signed up, is to read the Mary Kay autobiography. Because they're like, you're Mary Kay now, you need to know about your founder, you need to know about what this company is all about. And, sometimes when you're new, you don't really want to do that, especially when you just got out of college. You're like, another book, I'm tired of reading. But it's so good, and it goes by, it's an easy read. In fact, sometimes you just need to pick it up and read it again. Dawn Sweeney this weekend said, also pick up that book, Pass It On, that her assistant for 30 years wrote, Mary Kay's assistant, Jennifer Cook, and it is so good as well with different stories and things like that. So thank you so much, Sayla Mae. Okay, anyone else have something else that maybe something different that you got out of her powerful 6 minutes, right? 6 minutes, that's a lot to get all that out.
I liked that, sorry.
Go ahead, Maureen.
The part where she talked about the crease, I loved that.
Yep.
She taught on that in Valdosta, Georgia. A crease is a thought that takes hold in my mind. And I just love that. And she did more teaching on that, but that is like our mindset. She is all about up here. And I love that crease. When she said it, it reminded me of it again, because I've forgotten about it.
Yeah. And don't you remember she had a piece of paper and she said, sometimes people put creases in your brain that aren't true. Like when you're younger, like you can't do it, crease. And then something else, negative thoughts from your past. And she's like, you know what? We got to iron those out and put some new creases, replace those creases with new ones. I am like these affirmations that I just read. I'm a child of God. I am a new creation. There is a new thing coming in me. Crease, 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 right? Yeah. And like she said, she will never forget that now every time she did dishes, and y'all, here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow when you do dishes, you're going to go, dang it, I just took money away from the family. Who could be doing these dishes around here? Am I right? Yeah. And so it is important to get help. In different times of your life, you need different help and more help and less help. It's just according to what you have on. When I worked a full-time job and I was selling Mary Kay, I needed more help because I was gone all day long. And then I'm like, how am I going to get all this other stuff done? So that's when it really helped to have someone who would come clean my house and let me pay her some Mary Kay, And so it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So if you're scared to do it, Mary Kay Ash used to say, you hire her and tell her you'll pay her when you get back. And you better come back with some money by doing a skincare party. She goes, you book a party and you'll come back and have the money to pay her. She goes, it's very motivating. So she goes, I'd rather do a party than clean my house any day. And I'd rather do a party than, even cook dinner. I'd get somebody else cook dinner and let me go do a party. She goes, I like to eat. I like to eat too, right? Me and my husband were just talking about, why can't we have a chef? Why can't somebody come over here and cook? Anyway, that hadn't happened yet, but let me see if I saw anything else in here. I think you guys have covered it. I did.
Rita, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Pop on.
So, one of the things that I remember from Linda's time down in Valdosta as well, but and she kind of said it when she said, don't stop your life to have a crisis, but she talked about compartmentalizing things. So if you're having something going on in your life right now, you can't let it take over your life to stop your life to have a crisis, right? So you need to compartmentalize. And then as you put things behind this crease, so to speak, in your brain, and you compartmentalize it, then you can go do what you need to do that day. Then you can come back to your crisis if you want to, after 9 o'clock at night, so to speak. But I love the idea of compartmentalizing because I think it really does help us, especially when you've got a lot going on. If you've got a lot of kids and they've got lots of activities or whatever excuses you're giving yourself, those can be crises if you let them, or you can compartmentalize and get your work done.
Absolutely. And how many of y'all have seen the Queen in the Queen's chair? Either Queen of Sales, Queen of Sharing, or the top director. Get up there and tell about her year where somebody died, somebody got a health thing, somebody broke something, some bone, like some major stuff, and yet they're sitting in the throne. And, you put time and effort into a goal, the Lord is there with you too. And, sometimes things start dropping in your lap because you have sowed the seed. You have, worked, and the harvest is going to come for you guys. And so thank you for saying that. So true. We cannot stop in a crisis. I got a crisis going on right now. I got to get out of this house, and I sold my house, and kind of not unexpectedly, but kind of fast. And I got to be out in 3.5 weeks. And I have not packed a single thing yet. I know it's going to happen. I just got to decide when. But here's the thing. I can't quit Mary Kay for 3 weeks. I do have goals, right? So I can't just be done. I've got to keep working and somehow do that too. And you know what? I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. Go do a party, have someone else pack it. That's the stinking truth. And don't worry, I have already called someone to move me. Some things do take your own personal hand. Oh, the other thing that I want to just mention at the end is that she said, if it doesn't, and she's real big about this, if it doesn't bring her money or bring her joy, she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it. She has someone else do that stuff. And so that's why, guess what? Linda Toupin, she's a happy person. She is a happy person. Okay, let me pull this up a minute. I think that was all that I had on this my thing. Let me just make sure here. Yes, it was. Okay, awesome. Y'all got to admit it was more organized tonight. So look, we can get better, each and every week. So this week, is a very important week in Mary Kay. Today is the 9th. So we're not quite 2 weeks away, but we're on the verge of 2 weeks. All right. Remember to do your preferred customer program names by the 17th. Sales directors, a lot of you are heading to leadership before then. So don't forget and have to go scramble at the hotel that you're staying at to do your preferred customer program. We got some new exciting products coming out in February. So you're going to listen to me, you're going to want your people to have those lookbooks in their hot little hands. You really are. So you go on there and get your preferred customers enrolled in that. It is worth the 90 cents a person to do it. Okay. Secondly, 60 faces in 60 days. And I'll have to backtrack a minute. Last week, I believe on this call, I said that you had 3 months to do it, pick any 60 days. That is not the truth. It's just this month and next month. So this is the 60 days. So scratch last week's, what I said is this is the 60 days. So if you, for some reason, have not started, you are 9 people behind. But you can catch up so easy. You can catch up so easy. So a lot of us have that goal. That is the goal. Don't forget about the most important things list. Consultants, it's 3 qualified team members between now and June, and be a star consultant in one of the quarters. And you get that beautiful scarf. And if you up that to 5 qualified team members, you get a brand new, newly designed red jacket and the scarf, and you get to go on stage at seminar. That's big. So don't wait till June 29th to not have your recruits. Okay. Not that you can't get 5 in one day, but wouldn't it be more fun to get them this month and have commission on them for the next 5 months? Right. So let's work on the team building this month. Directors, all of our stuff went online today, live, the 6 most important things. So you pull up your own chart and you'll see this is how much you need to do your increase. This is how many more recruits you need to do this. All the things are now specific to you. And remember, if you do all 6, $3,000 and a diamond necklace. I'm just saying that's worth working for, right? So consultants, your director cannot do all 6 unless one of y'all step it up and become a sales director. So she will give you a little bit of that money in the way of a prize. But listen, we got to do this together. We all have big goals. We all need to triple time. So I want you all to pretend whatever you did the first 6 months, times it by 2 and add it to what you've already got in. And that's what you can do these next 2 months or more. Okay. So I'm just saying, all of you you can do a circle of achievement and get that massive 60-year anniversary ring. They brought that from Dallas for us to all try on and look at. It is beautiful. If you hate rings, you can take $1,000, but trust me, you're going to want the ring. The massive $500,000 ring is gorgeous. And the Court of Sales rings is 2 beautiful rows of diamonds. Y'all know this is a diamond anniversary. And so I've already told Brad, I said, I'm getting all 3 rings. I am not taking the money for any of them. I could, but I'm not. I'm gonna be way down with my rings, talking to my cows in the backyard. Anyway, all right, you guys, we will see y'all next week. Next Sunday night will be week number 3. And so I expect the numbers of the points to go up, 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 up. So whatever you did this week, I'm challenging you to at least go up 100 points. What is 100 points? It's a couple parties. Okay, so or one team member. Y'all can do it. Y'all can do it. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you for all of our gals over here, 30 people or so watching live on YouTube. And I see y'all and I see your points. Thank you so much for your comments.